Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Roma is a two-player, kind of a battle-type game set in Rome. It's a very tired theme to me, and it just... That alone is going to detract from the game a little bit. I understand it when it came back in a different era, but here I sit reviewing the game, so it depends on what I think now. It's a little bit tired. It does come from famed designer Stefan Feld, one of his earlier designs, I believe, and it's a pretty beloved game, to be honest. I think people who play this game do like it and its sequel, but there are some reasons why it didn't stick for us. So the game is interesting to be playing these cards down, which is the hand management side of it. And you can pretty much do whatever you want as long as you can pay for it. So you need money or dice in order to do that. So you're going to be hamstrung a little bit by what resources you have in order to do everything that you want to do. And the game is going to end when one person is out of victory points or the stockpile is out of victory points, and then you'll be able to determine who the winner is at that point. And it's kind of like, it feels like a little bit of a battle game going back and forth, and you're trying to do this and playing these cards down. And it's fairly interesting, but also a little generic. We tend to like the bigger games, and this one has like a little bit of dice rolling, and it felt like it had a lot of luck when we were playing it. Like the dice rolling and what you're able to do, it had a little bit too much of that for what we were looking for from this game. It's been a while since I played it. We played it quite a few times in a row, and I wonder that with some time, would this be something I'd come back and play with the kids, maybe enjoy a little bit more. But it has been purged from our collection. Not one we're going to be keeping, as the two-player games like this are pretty scarce. We get so many of these that we need to kind of to bring it down to only our favorites, because we don't have as much time to play two-player games as we would like to. And sometimes we just played the bigger Euros that really are four-player games that also work for two. So those kind of play into it also. And Roma was just one that was kind of hard cut that we didn't end up keeping for those reasons. So maybe it'll appeal to you. It's a very popular game. But for us, it's definitely going to be a purge. So here's Roma by Queen Games. It's a thick box, little square box they used to put out. Honestly, it's bigger than it needs to be. You're going to have some rules. Difference between first edition and revised edition, which is fine. We'll look at those in a few minutes. And you see, I mean, you get right here, this could have been a very portable game. Maybe there's a reason why they didn't, but it definitely could have been. And I think the game would be better for it without this big box. So here are the components in the game. As with most Queen games, high quality. These are going to be very, very thick. You're going to get some nice little die in different colors. Here is your money, cardboard money, which is great. These little chits here to be your victory points. And then the cards themselves. I actually like the color. I love Queen Games cards. I don't know why. I just like the way they feel. I think, they don't have the linen finish that some people have, but I just think they feel good, they shuffle well, and they're very durable. The artwork is okay. I mean, I'm tired of the Rome theme, but I can forgive this game a little bit because of the time period that it came out. As with most Queen Games, excellent components. So first things first with the rules, I should say there's a little paper here that shows you between the first edition and the revised edition. That's nice to have. The rule book, Queen Games are top of the line for me for rule books. I don't always love all their games, but their components and rules never let me down. You got the aim of the game up here, a picture of all the components with a breakdown of kind of how they're used. You're going to have setup over here, how to play. This is the entire game right here. And then they break everything down. I love how it's color-coded with pictures and examples through here. I love how they do their books. Into the game and kind of how you score. And then every card in the game is going to be listed with an explanation of what it does and how many are in here. Excellent. I mean, this is really... Game publishers should take a look at this game, and this is how a game like this should be done. Excellent. So the game is set up, everybody's going to have 10 victory points and 3 dice in their color. The deck will be shuffled. Everybody will get 4 cards. Then you'll take 4 of your cards. You'll give 2 face down to the other player. They're going to give you their 2 cards. So everybody ends up with 4 cards in their hand. Then you'll put your cards down in your play area. The additional side will be doing that also. And then you'll have your 4 cards, and they'll have their 4 cards set up. And then you can flip them over, and these will be our starting cards and location for the game. On your turn, what you're going to do is, and I'm kind of squashing everything in here so you can easily see it, anything on your turn. So let's say this is our side over here. I don't have a card here, don't have a card here. I have to give a victory point for each location that does not have a card. You'll never have a card on the money slot or the draw a card slot. Just the 1 through 6. And that goes for every round at the beginning of your turn. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to roll your dice. And then once you roll those, if you roll 3 of a kind, you can do a re-roll. So let me go over your options you have. If you put a die here on the money, so I put 3 on it, then I would get 3 coins from the supply. So you just count up the pips. That's how many dies you get. If I had gone over here to the cards, you would draw that number, 1 for each pip. You can look at them and you can keep 1. So say, I want this card in my hand. I would keep that card. The rest of those would be discarded face up. Another thing I can do is I can play a card from my hand. So like this card right here, it would cost 5 in order to play it. This one would cost 4. This one would cost 8. So I can place it down here. I would just pay the cost to the bank for the amount of the card, and then it would be there. Now, if I were to place it somewhere where it already had a card, then I would just replace it, and this card right here would be discarded out of the game. The last thing you can do is you can take your dice and you can activate this one. So this one says... I'd pay the number 1 die. It says you gained 1 victory point from your opponent. So then my opponent would have to give me a victory point for that card. The number 2 one, I don't have anything there. But let's say this had a 4 or a 6 on it, and I was able to play it down here. You may rearrange your cards face up characters. So you can rearrange your cards as you want. So those are your 4 options. Get money, get cards, play a card by paying money, or activate a card by utilizing a die to do so. And you can take as many actions as you want, as long as you can afford it or have the die remaining to do it. The game continues until somebody's out of victory points, because you can get negative. Remember, each round you're not going to have victory points, and people can take them from you, and etc. Or there are no more in the supply. At that point, whoever has the most points is now the ruler of Rome. Who should buy this game? People who are playing with couples that might want a quick playing game. It does have some luck involved in it, so you have to be okay with that. But the hand management and the resource management and your decisions should be able to scope that luck into what you want to do. At least that's the hope that you're going to have in it. I think the theme needs to speak to you a little bit. There's a lot of these 2-player games, especially with dice. And I think that if the theme plays for you a little bit more, I think you might enjoy this one a little bit more. For us, it was a Purge. It didn't really fit the bucket list that we're looking for in a game. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to get rid of good games because they just don't speak to you. And that's where we find us out with Roma.